All right, welcome back to another episode of the OpenClaw Boot Camp. This is episode 4, where we focus on automation. First things first, we're gonna look over the past week. I did take a peek before the stream. It looks like things broke, which is a blessing in disguise because this boot camp's all about showing you the raw process from start to finish. So first, we're gonna troubleshoot the past week, and then we're gonna get started with the automation. So let's get started, shall we? Let me make sure we're live here. Because this boot camp's all about beautiful. Let me know if that music's too loud or not loud enough in the background. And we're gonna wait for chat to fill up here. How's everyone doing today? And just a quick heads up. If you're watching this recording, it's not gonna matter if you're binge watching this after the fact. But next week for Lisbon and European time zones, we will kick off the streaming again at 5 p.m. because the time does change this weekend. It finally rolls over to where we're 8 hours ahead of Pacific rather than the 7-hour window that we've been dealing with these past few weeks. Yo, what's up, Ryan? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. How you doing today? Whew, excuse me. Probably should have brought some water for the live stream, huh? Let's wait for chat to fill up here. Oh, I'm getting some weird things from Google saying it thinks I'm a robot. It's like I'm wondering why this would be happening. I've had to enter in this like CAPTCHA so many times today across all of my devices. It's kind of crazy. Yo, what's up, Can? Welcome back. Yo, Quad, I'm doing well. How are you? I'm stoked for today. Today should be a fun one. As I mentioned, we're going to start off troubleshooting because I did take a peek before the stream and things did break. But, you know, it's all a part of the process, and I'm actually excited that things didn't just work for this past week. Yo, what's up, Raymond? Let's go. Hey, third time's a charm, right? Listen, I think I speak for most all of us when I say, like, you know, it takes at least 3. For me, I think it was closer to 10 than 3. So you're way ahead of me on that front. What's up, Dark? How you doing today? Mario, let's go. Welcome. Been playing with OpenClaw more and more, and I'm finally, let's go. That's see, this is what it's all about. It's not supposed to be easy out of the gate. It's all about just trial and error and learning as you go. Wow, chat's filling up. So all I ask is one thing, right? I'm doing all of this for free, so do what you can do for free to support the channel. If there's 18 people watching right now, there should be 18 likes. So smash that like button, drop a comment, let me know that you're here, and we'll get started momentarily. So YouTube has like this bot protection. Next time it pops up, I'll show you. But it's like this CAPTCHA where it's like these wavy words that you have to enter in to make sure you're not a robot. Hey, welcome back, Paul. Me too. Thanks for being here. Nice. Yeah, so my sleep schedule has been kind of crazy. I've, you know, been staying up until the sky starts to light up. And that's going to be happening about 3 days a week until I get back to the States. So I also got a late start today, and today I've just been only focused on boot camp. I had a lot of work, client work last night, took a little break, a little breather, and slept until about noon, close to 1 p.m. I don't like it. I prefer, I'm a morning person. I prefer my mornings, but you know, you kind of got to work with what you got sometimes. And life's all about balance. Sometimes things have to be out of balance to kind of get that balance back. Yeah, listen, even with like, I think I have great vision, but some of these words are rather difficult sometimes. Although today I haven't made one mistake. I've been able to enter in all the words with ease. All right, so let's just review today. Workflow, automation, and skills. Looks like this should have been up here. So we're going to review the past week, what automations ran, what broke, etc. We're going to fix them live, explain why they fix. We're going to get a better understanding. Let's kind of reorganize things here because it is kind of out of whack here. So I think that would go, you know what? I want to put why skills matter up there. Codebase handoff, yeah, that's a little bit later. User feedback loop, client email intake. Okay, that all looks good. And I'll kind of adjust this as I go. But I think this is the main topic here. So I just want to welcome everybody for tuning in once more. Again, 22 people watching, only 9 likes. Smash that like. Should I hold this episode hostage until we get 22 likes on this video before I proceed? It's the least you can do since I'm doing all this for free. So smash that button. I hate asking, but it really does help out the channel. It really does help YouTube recognize that they should be promoting this live stream to more, home pages and browse feeds. What's up, Fish? Welcome back. How you doing today? Hello, hello. I wish I can pronounce your name. I can't, so I'm going to call you DH until you let me know how to pronounce your name. Let's go, Quad. I appreciate you. We're almost there. We're at 12 out of 22. Come on. Come on now. In the meantime, let's go take a look at Goat OS. Let's go check build logs. So, yep, it looks like this morning did not run. Oh, you know what I'm also need to make sure of? Yeah, it thinks it's 2 a.m. I did have to do some maintenance on my M1. So I'm wondering if me pausing, I also took a road trip, took this M1 with me this past weekend. So my VM was offline for about 8 hours total, 3 hours each way. So, but this still, it should be 10 a.m. if that's correct. But, interesting. I'm wondering if this is why the automations didn't run, because if I'm not mistaken, yeah, self-improvement build happens in 46 minutes, in 1 hour, according to our local system time. I think we're just going to force them. We're going to update the time and then force them. So good to know that the automations actually didn't break. It was just me doing maintenance / taking this VM offline for some time. That's a bummer. I cannot wait to migrate this to a server. And for future boot camps, we will be operating off of servers that are permanent, right? We don't shut off these VMs, from day to day sometimes. Man, that's a bummer. Okay. Let's go to settings, date and time. Let's update to 412. Local time, or actually, do we have to military time this? I think it would be 1612. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, we'll get started. See, and this is like also something I noticed. I started a new session here right as we were prepping for stream. All right, go. So, I took a road trip this weekend. We took this VM offline where you're hosted, and you thought it was 2 a.m., but it was actually 4 p.m. So today's crons technically did not kick off. I would like you to initiate all of those crons for me. We just started the live stream for episode 4 of this boot camp. So please do process all those crons. Let me know when they're done, and then we'll get started on reviewing the past week's automations and get rolling with episode 4 boot camp. Whoa, what's going on here? Why is that? Oh, I'm in the VM. That's why, huh? That weird hotkey. There we go. Danny knows what's up. How do we know we are going to like it? Nobody knows, but it's provocative. It gets the people going. Anyone know what I'm talking about there? Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, Fish. There's a limit on how many people you can subscribe to? What do you mean? I don't think so. We're almost there. We're almost there. I appreciate each and every one of you. We are 17 out of 24 watching. Let's cross that 20 threshold. Come on now. I'm curious as to you're running into a subscriber max? That I've never heard of this. Maybe you're already subscribed? All right, and then how's the music? It's not too overpowering over my voice, right? All 7 crons are now firing. Here's the status. Okay. Ah, okay. So when the gateway restarted, they detected they were overdue and started automatically. The other 3 I just force triggered manually. Wonderful. I doubt that's going to be 30 minutes. It just gives itself 30 minutes. So let's take this opportunity to go to mission control. And we can see all these active sessions real time. So they are running. All the crons, their own individual sessions are running. We have our main chat running as well. So now we're just waiting. And it looks like the stand-ups did kick off 15 hours ago. Interesting. Let me do a hard refresh, make sure the timestamp is correct. Yeah, I mean, we're about to find out here in a moment. Oh, wow. That's impressive. Look at you. Kudos to you for supporting people. That's awesome. Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah, I have a lot of different YouTube channels. I have one for my personal brand where it's like photography focused. And so I've subscribed to certain channels there. I obviously have ClearMud, which is an AI channel focused on AI related subscriptions. And then I have like a personal one just for random stuff. I have a gaming one from my gaming days. I have a lot of different channels. I have a DFS one for DFS Daily Fantasy Sports when I primarily play NFL. But you're here for the boot camp, so let's get straight into it. Let's not squirrel too much here. But yeah, I haven't ran into that max subscriber count because I have so many different channels and I think they're evenly distributed. So we're just going to wait for these crons to complete and then we're going to look up here in a moment. Interesting, it's not streaming the messages. It's streaming the messages here. Looks like there's a streaming issue with those 2 crons. Let's go to the stand-up, shall we? So it looks like Tuesdays actually did not run. Interesting. Let's look at the past week. It looks like it was smooth sailing since Wednesday. We had Wednesday run, Thursday run, Friday, Saturday. Oh, these are short. What happened here? All 5 agents, zero new completions. Day 4 of same commitments. Oh, okay. We got to dig into why they weren't autonomously working off the PM board. Let's go. Oh, yeah. It looks like they were having meetings, throwing things into do, but not actually taking action. So this is great. This is actually great for this boot camp to show you that when you first set up these automations, you do have to hold their hands every single day. And since we don't do that for the boot camp, right? I don't want to do things off air. I want to work on it live on Wednesdays. We're running into this issue. Whereas we would have detected this, on Thursday or Friday, had it been something I work on off air. Hey, Derek, welcome. No worries, man. I know things are busy for you. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you for being here. Hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday. All right, let's just wait for these crons to finish before we start giving it a whole bunch of new tasks. Do a hard refresh. Let's see, did it kick off a stand-up for today? No, it did not. Yeah, it was a real struggle for me as well on Muddy OS. I do kind of stop things, right, once they hit the review column. But I'm loving that this broke, because you're going to see, the process that you should take, or at least I think you should take, to fix them and dial things in a little bit more. All right, Goat. So I'm just reviewing the past week here. Let's start off with stand-ups, right? Looks like Wednesday, right? Live stream, it worked. Thursday worked. Friday worked. Saturday worked. Sunday, Monday worked. However, once we got around to Monday, it looks like agents reported identical statuses, right? Looks like this started on Saturday. Friday, similar. So pretty much Wednesday and Thursday, you guys had somewhat in-depth reviews, or rather stand-ups, but you didn't take action on any action items in the PM board. When I first set this up, it was my intention for you to autonomously execute those to-do items, right? So where's the disconnect here? What happened? Where did it break? Why are these agents not executing on items in the PM board? Let's first understand why it broke, why the automation isn't working, and then implement a solution to make sure moving forward after each stand-up, each agent takes action on those action items from day to day, right? Maybe we need to update the cron, right? Maybe we need to, for today's live stream, we are going to deploy a cron plus skill workflow. I don't think that's the issue, right? But I'm just giving you a raw brain dump. And then let's go look at the lab. Let's go look at the build logs. Looks like the build logs worked all the way through yesterday. Today's the 25th. The last build log is from the 24th. CPU usage fix, shared utilities refractor. Okay, yeah, it looks like these were actually working. Let's go check the Foundry date. Focus map. This is from yesterday. Yeah, so I still don't see the crons that you manually kicked off for today. But I do still see the prototypes being built out, which is great. Up until yesterday, of course. Ooh, looks like the 23rd's prototype is really bad styling. So we need to add optimizing a front-end design skill for the Foundry prototypes. Because it looks like we had that issue early on. It looks like we had that issue 2 days in a row. I don't like the styling on the 22nd either. Styling on the 21st, though, looks good. Okay. Yeah, so let's also take this opportunity to do a system health check and see, from these past 7 or 8 days, what automations worked, what didn't, and give me a report on, why they broke and how we're going to fix it moving forward. And this is what I do a lot with my agent when things aren't working properly. I just vibe, I brain dump, I just voice to text, and I just talk to it like a human. What's up, Whoosh? Welcome. Try to implement your dashboard solution, but I want to do this with a local model. Yeah, so there's a reason I don't really use local models right now. Primarily, it's a resource issue. Oh, look at this. I ran into this on Muddy OS, and I want to show you guys. I did go into ClawCrib to troubleshoot it. So it looks like today, and then I went to Claude status, and it looks like Claude Code is having some issues today, right? So I'm really hoping this doesn't hinder our bootcamp episode of making progress. We'll kind of work through these errors, but this is an issue on Claude's end and not our end. And then we do have an update to update as well. We'll update it when we need to. Listen, I have a rule of thumb for OpenClaw updates. Don't just blindly update every single time a new update is out. This is new technology, right? This is a new open source project. Especially early on, the first few weeks, I found that chasing every new OpenClaw update, things would break, right? So first analyze the differences of, what new features are, associated with an update. What does it fix? Does it apply to you, right? Don't just blindly follow every update just to stay updated. I usually wait 2 or 3 updates before actually pushing an update. Now, I did update MuddyOS to the latest version when I got back from my road trip because I analyzed a few things and I made sure that nothing was going to break. And I did want to utilize some of the new features. However, I didn't do it for Goat because I don't work on Goat off air, right? We only work on Goat during these live streams. Yo, what's up, Sharma? Yep, that's usually my standard. So we will once we get to the skills portion of this episode. Yeah, I think they have their use cases, right? I think they have their use cases. But when you compare them to the likes of Opus 4.6 and GPT 5.4, there's just no comparison, in my opinion. So in this case, when I see this message, it's gonna recognize this, but I'm just gonna copy paste that message in there. Right, you see how it wasn't responding after the AI overloaded error, which is, an Anthropic side issue, sadly. So I'm really hoping we don't run into too many issues on this episode with that. All right, I just briefly looked. Thank you, everybody. 22 likes out of 28 viewers. For those 6 other viewers, smash that like button. And I won't ask again this episode. We crossed the 20 threshold, so now we're vibing. Whew, I love this. This is going to be a big breakdown here. We're just going to look at the summary first. Now let's review everything it's discussed. So system health report. The scoreboard. We had 1 timeout, 2 timeouts. We need to address those timeouts. It's actually working. Self-improvement builds crushed it. 22 consecutive nights of real Goat OS improvements. This week alone, ops dashboard, no scroll fix. Let's double check, see if those crons finished from last night, or rather from today that we just forced. Yeah, looks like the stand-up did get pushed through the cron. So I'd imagine that the build log, nope. All right, we'll address that. 15 prototypes in 50 nights, 100 success rates. Stand-ups are theater, critical failure. This is the big one. Stand-up fires at 8:30. Parallel, okay, and then it's done. Round 1 reports get generated. Interesting. So it looks like it is actually not working properly, okay? Transcript gets compiled from round 1 only. Action items get access to the paper, but no response support. Okay. I think today's the day we need to set up to some delivery channels here. Unless we build out a chat feature within Goat OS. I'm shocked Goat didn't detect this last week. And, you know, it was my hope that it would, but hey, this is all a part of the process of learning and building together. Okay. Hey, thanks for the review here, the report. Everything looks good. Go ahead and fire them all off. The only note that I have here is for problem number 2, the delivery channel. This seems to be a trend here. Now, we're either going to set up Telegram or Discord delivery channels next week, right? When we're fine-tuning things. However, for this week, I'm wondering if we create our own chat within Goat OS, and then that can be the delivery channel. What are your thoughts with this here? Additionally, can you please confirm all the crons that kicked off here after the gateway restart? Did they all finish, or are we still waiting on something to finish there? All right. This right here, this is key, right? Using a local model to replace Opus 4.6 is you're gonna be very unhappy with the results. However, using local models for specific use cases and specific workflows, I think is very valid. And I think that's where their strengths lie. So very good point here, Sharma. What's up, Air? Why does that look like an alien hand? I love it. Thank you. Yeah, and I'm not. Maybe it's in the chat that's saying this, but I don't think they're all trash, right? I just think they have their specific use cases. I don't think that they outright replace Opus 4.6 and ChatGPT's 5.4, at least not yet. And I could be wrong, right? I don't test those, so I don't have that hands-on experience. So, you know, maybe in the coming weeks and coming months, once I, you know, invest in some hardware that can actually use these models properly, then I'll have more to speak on them. Yeah. All right. Well, Crons, solves the delivery channel problem without depending on external services, keeps everything self-contained in the OS, becomes the internal comm surface. All right, looks like we are now also building a chat module here in episode 4. Now, I could go to MuddyOS because I have it dialed in MuddyOS, but let's build it from scratch, shall we? Yep, scope it and build it. And then give me a report once you're done with all the other action items from the system health report. Let's tackle it all right now. We're live, so there's no better time than the present. Cool. So now I can just focus on chat while this builds out. Oh, looks like you guys are conversing back and forth. I love it. Listen, I'm not going to intervene here. I love that there's chat going on between community members in chat. That's awesome. Now, in the meantime, I will take this opportunity to tease our new website. It's going to look very similar to what's live right now. I'll push this live by the weekend. But what's fun is, it's deploying on a new tech stack. And we're going to have this resources tab. This is what I was talking about here, actually, Dark Ice. Look at this. I've been seeing this happen a lot through pretty much all of my devices. What? I know I'm typing this incorrectly. Prosona. Interesting. These aren't even like actual words. Huh. Okay, I'll have to address that. But what's fun is I'm building this resources page here, and it's only going to be an email wall. That's it. No paywall. But pretty much all the video props I create for all of our long form videos and resources like that are going to live here. So I was rebuilding the site to support that OAuth login. And just overall kind of new look and feel. We have a new blog that's looking more and more like a news blog than anything. I'm still fine tuning it, but very excited to launch that. I should be pushing that live by the end of the week. And I think this is a very good point, Whoosh. Like local models thrive for these types of kind of like terms and conditions and privacy focused setups, right? They don't want a connection to the outside world. They don't want an external model with access to all of their private information for clients. Usually legal and finance, I think, would find more value in local models than anything, and building sandboxed environments for legal and finance teams that need to stay internal. That's where these models also thrive. What's up, Jeeves? Been running OpenClaw for a while, debating standing up Hermes and running them side by side. I need a little more context here. Nah, it's an API call. That's what's weird about that. Now let's also go take a look at our live website. Let's see if it's showing. Because maybe that's just a local host issue. Nope. We'll get this dialed in this week. That's not what this episode's about. Let's get back to it. All right, firing on all cylinders. Let me knock out the quick fixes directly and delegate the builds. Weekly SOP. Okay, we already reviewed this. So now we're just waiting here. I kicked off 2 minutes ago with that response. Looks like the post stand-up work sessions spawn all agent to work on their PM board tasks. Okay. Okay. Let's do a hard refresh here. Yeah, it looks like it still didn't run that. Hey, thank you. I'll look into this. At this point, we're just waiting for the ping. All right, so we're going through this. We're not done yet, but I want to just check it off. And then I think we can start talking about skills while we're waiting for all that work to complete. Talk about the two-step pattern. You know, I didn't prepare a visual prop for this, but I think what we can probably do, let me take this off screen real quick and load the temporary resources page. Sources. Yeah, and if you didn't catch it, I made a video about this, so I just wanted to pull up this prop from the video. But essentially, since we've been building out, we've been vibing this build from start, right? We didn't create skills for crons yet. And there's a lot of power in doing that. So on this episode, we're gonna focus, by the end of the episode, we're gonna convert all of our cron jobs into skills, and then the cron job is essentially going to read that skill rather than, if you go look at the cron jobs, you see all this text inline, right? Some are bigger, some have more text than others, right? And since these are repetitive tasks that kick off at a certain frequency, it's more efficient, and we're gonna find that we get better results. Ooh, nice, it broke. Let it do its thing, it'll fix itself. At least we know it's working. But essentially, once we're done by the end of this episode, these crons are going to read this skill file. They will have anywhere from 5 to 10, maybe 15 lines at most. But you'll find that the output that you get is going to be more consistent. It's going to be more in line with what you ask for, rather than, you know, letting these run via cron jobs and defining the cron job entirely in the prompt. I discovered this with Muddy OS, at least, is the output wasn't always consistent. It was hit or miss, right? So there's a lot of power in taking the time to create a SKILL.md for each and every one of your crons, each and every one of your workflows and automations and repetitive tasks. And we will be following a template. Let's see, I told it to prepare. Where is it? Okay. And this is the master prompt we'll use for GOAT. And you're welcome to copy paste this. This is available on the website as well. If you go to clearmode.ai/bootcamp, navigate to this episode's module, and you should see oh, I guess I didn't update it yet. This will be updated by end of week. As you know, I'm updating the website, so we'll get that live as soon as possible. But if you're ahead of the curve and you don't want to wait, just go ahead and screenshot this page here. And we'll do this in a little bit. Let me just copy that ahead of time. I don't think we're going to use this line for line, but this is a great master prompt for that. Client intake automation. We're going to be using AgentMail for today's. I did go ahead and set up an account, set up a few different pods, one for Goat OS. So let's go ahead and create an inbox. We'll call it goat.inbound. I'm going to call another one goat.outbound. Oh, guess my other pod, I reserved something for ClearMud and just my nickname. So we'll just use goat inbound for now. Let's go back to chat, check status. It's still working. Yeah, it's a game changer for me. And I've been hearing more and more feedback from the community, from people actually applying what they learned in that video, who are happy with the results, you know? So yeah, I'm wondering why today out of all days let's go take a quick look. We're going to squirrel just a touch. Where did Theo say that? He has a new video. And at the beginning of this video, transparent that we're making. I guess Gemini CLI is cracking down on free models or free accounts in particular. I wonder if, you know, it's too much of a coincidence for this crackdown on Gemini CLI to also happen with their YouTube API as well, or just YouTube in general. So I'm wondering what's going on, right? Like, why do I keep seeing this CAPTCHA across all of my devices today? It's very, very odd. What's up, Ariz? Hey. Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you. I'm happy you're finding value in these. And your agent Solomon. Why is that so hard for me to pronounce right now? And then I suppose in the meantime, let's go ahead. If you guys didn't catch that video, I do include copy paste the prompts. Oh, it looks like it didn't format it properly. I need to fine tune this part of that website. But what I'll do is I will just screenshot this. Now, I'm curious, who's been following along truly? Like, who's been building their own week by week, step by step? I do know Slinger's probably asleep right now. I know he tries to always tune in live. But due to the time zone difference, I believe we start 2 a.m. his time, or 3 a.m., I can't remember. But he's already been sharing screenshots of his build because he's been following along and building. That he was the first person to actually show off screenshots of a build inspired by Goat OS, which I love to see. But who else is actually following along? Are you just more watching to learn and plan on following along once all of the episodes are live? I just want to get a gauge of you know, of that number. I call him Soul for short. Nice, nice. No, so what happened was originally all of these resources were local HTML files that were created by MuddyOS, but due to a lot of feedback and comments on YouTube videos that I use these video props in, I got a lot of requests saying, hey, it would be nice for us to have access to these video props as well. I built them for a local informative / tool for my videos. And I was like thinking, you know, wouldn't be a bad idea to make these publicly available as well. So it was the conversion from that raw HTML output into this new tech stack that is causing some issues. I did dial in most of the issues. These used to be walls of text as well, but it looks like this didn't properly format these sections, right? Because these should show line by line. This should be a separate line. This should be a separate line. You see my point? So I'll fix that. We're dialing things in, and I'm dialing in a SKILL.md for this resource as part of our new website. That way, with each new video prop I create for a video, it gets automatically placed where it needs to be placed, styled how it should be styled, so that I don't have to hold its hand. But rebuilding the site has been a lot of TLC, a lot of just little improvements along the way. And I've been loving it. I've been loving the, you know, because I love the original layout, so I didn't want to kind of reinvent the wheel. I just wanted to improve the website overall. Hey, no worries, right? Yeah, this is, thanks for sharing. Like, I just wanted to gauge like who's actually building along versus kind of watching to learn. And then I have a feeling you'll binge watch or build one after the fact, right? Had my OC set up before, but setting up another one now. Nice, nice. Thanks for sharing. Nice, nice. Nice, okay, okay. So does Soul download the transcript as well to kind of analyze what was discussed, et cetera, et cetera? That's really cool. I love how you have your agent also watching along and following along these YouTube videos. That's pretty neat. Hey, right on, Paul. That's good to hear. And I'm a big advocate for repetition, right? I'm sounding like a broken record here, but I don't think anybody's going to get OpenClaw on a one shot on their first attempt. I think, going through those trial and errors and pain of learning and realizing, maybe it's best to rebuild it. You learn a lot through that process. So thanks for sharing. And I'm excited to see what you end up building next. Woo! Had a gnarly cough there. I had to make sure to mute the mic so you guys didn't hear that. Let's see. Okay, so it's slowly building it out. I'm going to be patient and wait. Now, we can't click on each individual chat, but it is coming along, so great. I'm going to have to cough drop it up. Says the last update was 439. Let's just, I notice sometimes with the gateway it has this weird, I hate having to check in. I feel like we should practice patience here. But let's check in. Just checking in. How we looking? Whoops, that's Muddy OS. Let's close that so I don't make that mistake again. Although I do want to make sure Clear Mud OS stays visible. Kind of confused by this chat feature here. All right, so let's review that chat tab real quick. You say it's complete. I just messaged in there. I'm not seeing a response. So this is how it should work. I think the chat tab in Ops should show all of the agent sessions so that should I choose to communicate with an individual agent with its own workspace, etc., I can have that conversation inline. Additionally, I just asked you, is this working? I got no response back. In Muddy OS, Clear Mud, my main operations, it reminds me very similarly to this gateway chat, right? It's like a chat back and forth that we see real time, right? That's how this chat feature should be working, right? Additionally, I'm not sure if we need to create a completely separate session ID so that the delivery mechanism is sent to Goat OS chat, right? For each cron, for each automation. I'm just brain dumping here on how I would like this chat tab to work. I think by default, it should be a main chat with you, right? Through Goat OS chat. However, I would like the option to communicate individually with each agent as well. What's involved with getting this wired properly? And would you like me to ask Muddy OS to create a kind of master prompt for how I built out that chat feature in Muddy OS? I think actually that wouldn't be a bad idea, you guys, because When I navigate through my OS and my system, you see this little chat blurb down here. That stays static through the entire, not static, right? Like dynamically through all the tabs. It's always down there. So I can chat with my agent as I navigate through my entire OS. So I'm wondering if we should do the same here as well. What do you guys think? Should we master prompt it from Muddy OS, or should we try to rebuild it live, showing you the raw back and forth vibe approach? I'm going to let chat decide here. Right on. Hey, thanks for being here. Hi from Puerto Rico. Very nice. Well, hey, thanks for being here, Xavier. Appreciate you. And DH, hey, thanks for the sub. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you found us. Yeah, so I go live 3 days a week right now. On Wednesdays, we host these boot camps. Well, it's one boot camp. We're building Goat OS from scratch. And it was inspired by the amount of popularity of the video of me showing off Muddy OS. I thought, wow, people want to see how this is built. So let me build one from scratch that the core functionality of it is similar to Muddy OS. So that's what we're doing every Wednesday. As of now, the last bootcamp, the episode 5, is scheduled for April 1st. So next week, right? Next Wednesday should be the last one. We might do an episode 6 if I feel like we need to. But and then Monday and Friday, we just vibe code. I ideate, I work on video ideas, we work on other projects that I'm working on. But Wednesdays is specifically building Goat OS from start to finish. So thanks for being here. And you can find, if you want to go back and rewatch, if you go to our main YouTube, you'll find there's a playlist down here. Looks like I need to update that page. Right, it shows it's live, but as you can see here, episode 1, 2, 3. This is going to be a free mini series that lives on YouTube forever, so you can always watch back and binge watch everything down the road. Nice, nice. Okay, maybe we do that. Where is send screen? I don't know. What are you saying? What's up, Demi? All good, all good. Thanks for being here. Whew, 96%. How many days do you have left on that weekly limit there? Wow. Okay. So I haven't burned through my weekly limits, but I think it's because I don't use it as my primary. I haven't upgraded to the $200 a month plan yet, because I'm going to build out a brand new OC agent using GPT 5.4 as a test. When I start that project, that's when I'll upgrade. Currently, I pay the $20 a month for Muddy OS, and GPT 5.4 only handles things on the back end, security audits, things like this, right? From Elon's division. So let's expand all. So let's see. Anvil has Codex 5.4 with a 4.6 Opus fallback. Same with Cypher. And then I believe the Audit subagent as well defaults to 5.4 with an Opus 4.6 fallback. So I use it very strategically, and I haven't ran into any limits per week at all, right? But I could imagine using it as your primary, how you would just chew up through that weekly usage right away. A dumb message long. Thanks for clarifying that you think it's dumb. What the hell is this? Like, come on, goat. Come on, goat. Who else runs into these types of responses from their agents? Yeah, so what I have working in Muddy OS is It only speaks with my primary agent, Muddy. However, we're going to want to incorporate agent channels. So let me go get a master prompt for you. That way you can kind of marry the best of both worlds with what I want to accomplish here with Goat OS. And then Goat OS should talk to the OpenClaw gateway via WebSocket. Right? Because our Goat OS is accessed via network bind. But since Goat OS lives, on the same VM locally as the gateway, you should be able to communicate with WebSocket. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me get that master prompt for you. All right, let me just really quickly start a new session here with Muddy. I have a weird glitch with Muddy sometimes when I start new. He doesn't actually clear the chat like he should. Where is that master prompt to recreate our chat ops? Because I believe I was going to work on a video like this to show people how to build their own chat module within their own mission control, et cetera, et cetera. But I never actually executed on the video. It just got backlogged. So let's go see what it finds here. Okay, Claude limiting us again. So we're just waiting now at this point. Let's see if we run into the same issue here. Do I have to restart Muddy Gateway? I rarely have to do this, but sometimes I do. Let's go to Muddy and just do a quick gateway restart. Oh, this actually, I don't use WhatsApp anymore, but I've been running into this a lot. I think I should just remove the WhatsApp delivery channel and link all together on Muddy OS. So we'll wait for a response there. Yeah, we're having we're just waiting for Muddy OS to get back to us. So I want you to take action and try to build it yourself. And then as soon as I get that master prompt in place, I will copy that over. Okay, we've given it enough context to kind of get to work here. Cool. Now, keep in mind, we're building this out as a solution to where this will be the new delivery channel to solve those errors that we've been getting when there's no delivery channel specified for a particular cron. This is going to solve that, right? Okay. I'm curious to see if you burned through that one. Did you burn through the $200 a month one, Aries? So full transparency, like when I first just became obsessed with OpenClaw and I upgraded to Claude Max away from 3 Pro subs, my first 2 weeks, I maxed out my weekly usage on the $200 a month plan in days. So I wouldn't say it's a skill issue. I think it's more of an experimentation kind of feature, if you will, where you're doing the most, right? I think once you get your system operational though, like it's very efficient off of these subscriptions. But the initial kind of back and forth, the Dexter's laboratory mode, so to speak, of just tinkering and building and, you know, starting from scratch again, going back and forth with your agent, loading all this context, forgetting to start new sessions every day, that definitely accumulates and adds up very, very quickly. Ah, okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Are you in the Discord? Yes, we did enable it. And please elaborate. Yo, what's up, Matt? I hope your name's Matt. I'm trying to figure out what part of this is your name. I'm just going to call you Matt until you correct me otherwise. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Token burn is real. Yeah, I mean, you know, the $20 a month plan is very limited, right? I think I was maxing out within 45 minutes of a 5-hour window, and it wasn't efficient for me, which is why I eventually just upgraded. All right, while this is working, I do got to take a quick bio break. Drank way too much coffee before this, so give me a few minutes and I'll be right back. But luckily it's building out the chat feature for us, so I'm gonna... All right, it's still building, right? We still have that old view, but I will be right back. All right, we are back. Let's just eagerly go and look at this chat feature. I was just gonna say, yo, what's up, Muddy? What is going on here? Wow. Let me scroll up to see the context on this. Was this related to something I was talking about? Forgive me. I had a late start to the day, so I'm not as sharp as I normally am during this time of day. It kind of still like morning for me. Yeah, we're still having some issues here. AI service is temporarily overloaded. Come on, Claude. Man. Literally real time red bars. I don't like to see that. That's going to hinder progress, sadly, today. I have a demo account subscription setup token. Oh, it's just if you wanted to join, that's the best place to share things in the showcase channel we have in the Discord. If you would prefer, just DM me on Twitter or post it on Twitter and tag me. It's probably the best way to show it off and let me see it, you know? Yeah, so thanks for asking. We only hand out invites during live streams. It's not just completely open to the public. I also want to take this moment to really talk about the community I'm trying to build out of Discord is, you know, I understand naturally people are going to be shy. Listen, we are all strangers on the internet. However, you know, it's my hope that this Discord evolves into a community that helps one another, that shares with one another, that doesn't just come to ask me questions, right? Because I'm putting in 80+ hour weeks between everything I'm working on, my client work, and then this channel. So as much as I'd love to be in the Discord 8 hours a day answering every one-on-one question, I can't, right? I have to kind of time block my time. And, you know, it's always my goal to continue doing these videos for free, these boot camps for free, showing up to these live streams, answering all the questions I can for free. That will never change. But it's my hope that everybody in the Discord really starts interacting with one another, right? Helping one another. That's what community is all about. So just wanted to put that out there before I send an invite. We do have a natural Discord pruning mechanism that 3 weeks of inactivity, you do get booted, no hard feelings, right? We're just really trying to trim the silent watchers out of the Discord who just kind of watch and don't interact and don't contribute to the community, right? And I am working on, you know, making myself more and more available. I do have something fun planned for Discord live streams where it's stuff that I could live stream there that I don't want to live stream on YouTube, primarily because, you know, I'm thinking of live streaming my Infra Saturdays, but I have to be thoughtful to not expose certain private information. That's why I don't want to live stream Infra Saturdays. So I think if anything, we do like a show and tell day in Discord where everybody can tune in, share their screen, share their build, you know, talk back and forth, just hang out, right? So it's a learning process, right? I started the Discord with one person, ROG, Derek, right? Yeah, no worries. Oh, okay. You're talking about what we're doing right now with the chat feature. Yes, yes, yes. That's the plan. So thank you for this. Yeah, give me a second. I'll drop an invite here. Creates identity. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and I think I did specify that out the gate. Maybe I didn't. But right now we're kind of just waiting. Let's do a quick another little yo ping here to Muddy to see if okay, look, it is building it out. It's slow, but you know, it is obviously working, so we're just patiently awaiting right now. Looks like Anthropic is just incredibly slow today, but I'm a ninja. Hey, I feel it. I'm a ninja too. I like to blend in. I like to slide under the radar as I talk with dreads. Yeah. But show and tell, that could be cool. Yeah, I think it could be very cool. So as I think once I get back to that Pacific time zone, I'll create more of a structure in the Discord. Yeah, of course. Well, I count 5 interested viewers right now, so I'll create an invite link with 5 invites here shortly. I already pinned this one. Yeah, Derek's got a good point. Yeah. It's coming along, right? Like, listen, this is a work in progress. This is This is also why I didn't want to just open it up to the public and just let, the floodgates open, because I wanted to curate, a more intimate community, and kind of take this strategic approach of, listen, I don't care how many people are in the Discord. What I care about is what percentage of the people in the Discord are actually engaging and helping one another and sharing and talking. That's the focus. I don't care about having 10,000 Discord members, right? I'm not building Discord in a way to promote things to you. I'm building it in a way to create a community around everything we talk about here, right? All our live streams, all our videos, just this space in general, right? So, okay, I'm gonna have to bump it up to 10 invites because I see a lot of interest. So let's just double check. Looks like Goat's still working. You created a master prompt for our MuddyOS Ops chat tab, as well as the floating chat bubble that's accessible across our entire MuddyOS. Where is that master prompt? You created it as a video prop for, I think, a few weeks ago. I essentially want to give that to GoatOS, our OpenClaw Boot Camp live stream build right now to incorporate the chat bubble floating across the entire OS. But I might as well feed the entire master prompt to GoatOS. So please figure out where you put that and paste it here in chat. Don't you dare temporary overload me. Just respond, Muddy. All right. Could not load history yet. It says it's connected. No, it's still doing work, and the way I can tell is as I'm navigating in here, if it refreshes to the mission control, that means it's actually doing work on the code base. And this is still queued, so it's clearly still doing the work. So we're just gonna wait. Yeah, and I hope that changes too, because I know you have a full plate, right? I'm sure you enjoy it. I'm sure you love it, but don't be scared, people. Talk and chat, We're here to help one another. And we are just simply waiting. Son of a bleep. Looks like, just the timing. I mean, we've been solid. We haven't, I think actually did we start this boot camp on March 3rd? I was worried the first episode we were going to run into this, but we didn't run into any issues from what I remember. It resolved itself by the time we went live. Or no, I think we started on the 5th. Yeah. All right. I mean, we're just patiently waiting now at this point. So let me go grab a few Discord invites in the meantime. Let's invite to server. Create 10 uses. Copy. This right here. I'm a big advocate for no question. The only dumb question is no question. The only dumb question is never asking the question. Just ask it, right? The answer is always no if you don't ask it, right? It's just kind of like rules to live by. So yeah, there's never, no such thing as a dumb question. And I finally opened up Clay, which is one of my bots. He's very helpful in the Discord. He helps answer questions. He references the docs.openclaw.ai, and he will point you to ClawCrib at some point in the conversation if he can't resolve your issue. Yeah, so this episode, we're fixing the past week, and we're also adding something that wasn't originally in the curriculum. We're building out a chat feature within GoatOS because we keep running into one of the discoveries from reviewing this past week is there's no delivery channel for a lot of our automations. So creating this chat feature is going to solve that. So we're building that out. We talked about why skills matter. We're going to be building these out real time. We talked about the two-step pattern, right? So now we need to convert existing crons. This is kind of where we are right now. Oh, and this is actually walk through SKILL.md structure. So we'll walk through this in a moment. Let's actually have Muddy do this for us if he's going to work. Come on. Come on, Anthropic. Just work. Work for the next hour, hour and a half. Let us finish this episode, please. And thank you. Okay. What's interesting is it did actually... I don't feel like navigating to the VM. You should give me an HTML preview for this. Additionally, where's the HTML preview from that? From the video we made 2 weeks ago, where it said stop installing OpenClaw skills, start building your own. We created a very basic SKILL.md template and a Cron scheduling template. Please paste those here in chat. What do you mean exactly? Or you mean going and editing the bio in past episodes? I mean, we've been following the curriculum week by week, pretty solid. And there's been certain questions about certain things that I have to say, hey, come back week 4 or week 5, because this is not the episode for that. I see what you mean. Yeah, if we discover something like that, for sure, I'll make it known. But we haven't run into any issues like that to where I don't think anything we've done in the first 3 episodes don't bring value. You know, the whole purpose of this boot camp is to show the raw start to finish. And I think we've done a very good job at following each episode's theme. So let me know if you disagree. If you discover something that doesn't line up with that, but I think we've been very solid with that. So like going back to today's, the first step here was review the past week since all of those automations we set in place with our multi-team agent, right? Cron's things weren't fully automated. So we're essentially figuring out what broke, right? This boot camp is meant to be watched from episode 1 through episode 5. And then you can kind of see the week to week evolution. And you can learn from my mistakes, essentially. Nice, nice. I can't wait to see this. You know I love to cook. Yeah, they have doubled the promo usage out of peak times. I'm sorry to hear at the 95%. Are you on the max or pro plan? Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, so this particularly is like, we never set up a Telegram or Discover or Discord or WhatsApp delivery channel. And we talk about this in earlier episodes that we were going to use the gateway chat. In most cases, people are going to set up their own delivery channels. So it's unique to how we were building. I don't think I have to go back to change anything, because going back and changing things would mean I'd have to go and edit and take down that raw format video, which I have zero intention of doing, because I think there's a lot of value in showing this from start to finish, right? I think maybe doing a recap will be very important, right? maybe we'll do a live stream recap, the Wednesday after or the second Wednesday after the fact, and just go over the entire boot camp after I have time to rewatch everything and reanalyze everything and just share discoveries from episode. I think that's the better solution because these are not long form videos. I cannot just go and edit it, right? I have to take it down and post a new one, right? So I don't want to do that. I want to keep these raw step-by-step, start to finish videos out there. But thank you for this because it's a very good idea to do a recap at the end of this bootcamp to kind of key takeaways, summary, what we learned and discovered from episode 2 to episode 3, et cetera, et cetera. I think that'll be very valuable. So thank you for that feedback. Max X5. Wow. Okay. Listen, my first 2 weeks, I maxed out my max plan as well. Days ahead of time. Days ahead of time. Depends what type of traveling. I primarily just use my Telegram delivery channel to communicate with my agent if I'm out and about. Man, it's taking its sweet time, huh? Okay, looks like it's giving us a real... So it looks like it's detecting no output yet from Claude, but it's not feeding us an error message. Interesting. Okay, we see the heartbeats coming through. Nice. This is looking solid. Let's do a hard refresh here, see if it responded to those. Okay, wow. So if anybody wants to try to rebuild MuddyOS chat, screenshot this first page. I'm going to make a video about this and then screenshot this second view here. So we're going to copy that over to GoatOS. We don't want to use this chat yet. We want to continue using the gateway chat. However, we want to wait for it to finish. Yeah, so that was one of the self-improvement builds that it created these kind of badges to let us know that there was stuff done or kind of things waiting for approval or things waiting. I think it's more related to like new sessions, things like this, possibly also the PM board. But the PM board is stale, right? They never took action on anything, which we just fixed not too long ago. But now we're building out this chat feature. And before we force that automation of them taking action on the PM board, I want to finish chat first. I don't want to squirrel too much here. Let's get chat dialed in, and then we'll continue on with this curriculum as far as we're going to review a SKILL.md that you can copy paste. Alternatively, you can just go check that video from 2 weeks ago. Everything that you need is in that video. And then we're going to convert our existing crons. I don't think we're going to convert every cron because sometimes you don't need a skill for a cron, but 9 times out of 10, it's ideal to have a skill for a cron. And then I'm going to hand off ClawCrib as well. This section is for, this section's for ClawCrib. So these 3 are ClawCrib related. And then we're going to have these. Now these should be handled through the PM board because I remember seeing these. The agents already discussed this as well as this. Status report generation. I think they discussed this as well. So we're gonna tackle this. Try to be as structured as possible with this bootcamp. I'm trying to chat in it just out of curiosity to see if it works. Look at that. It works. I don't see a preview like he's typing, which a little fine-tune, little thing we'll have to fine-tune, but nice. I'm sure this is going to be buggy. It's okay if it is. I already did. Nice, nice. I'm actually already chatting with you here in the chat feature in Goat OS. Now, going back to my original question, I'm going to cancel that message there. You know, we built this out to serve as a solution for this to be the delivery channel for crons, right? But if this is just the same session as we have in the main gateway, wouldn't the same issue occur? Sure. Better yet, maybe I'll rush a video for tomorrow to kind of walk through that as well. To walk through that build. I can help you to max it out. Oh, I see. Hey, all good, Reng Latang. Why skills over just MDs in a shared repo? Well, skills are MDs. I'm a bit confused here. Can you elaborate a little bit more? What's up, Gob? Izzy? 100%. That's a sharp catch. What we built is just another client for the same sessions. The Goat channel and chat connects to Agent Goat main. Same sessions you're talking me through. It's a second window, not a new delivery channel. The cron runs in isolated sessions. They have no mechanism to push the results. Okay, nice. Add one line to each cron prompt. Post a summary to our API for chat. Source cron, sender name, summary. Okay. Yeah, let's go with option A. And then I have a master prompt from MuddyOS to give to you here to see if there's any gaps that we can fill with you building out this chat. To me, it looks like it's working clearly. But I also want to incorporate, like when we're out of this chat tab in our ops on Goat OS, I would like a little chat bubble floating across the entire OS. So I'm going to feed you a master prompt to pull that off. Bam. And we're just feeding everything. There we go. Let's go. I'm happy to hear this. I'm very, very happy to hear this. All right. It's building it out. Wonderful. Ooh, I love this, like, looks like it's like typing. You know, it's supposed to be one of those lines at the end of a sentence. That's cool. Nice. I'll be patient. I'll be patient. Now it looks like we're navigating away from the gateway chat and we are strictly working in here now. Yeah, so the only case where you need to create, in my opinion, let's rephrase this. In my opinion, the only use cases for skills are for repeatable tasks that are very in-depth. Let's say you have a 50-line cron prompt that has 10, 12, 13 action items that it needs to follow. Well, one thing you'll discover is through weeks of automations, it's not always going to be consistent. However, if you take all of that context and put it into a SKILL.md based off of a template that I'll provide, you can ask any LLM to give you a SKILL.md template. you're going to find that the output is going to be far more consistent and reliable as to what that workflow entails, right? What you're doing in that workflow. I'll give you an example, right? Our old static site, clearmud.ai, we're in the process of updating it, but the blog in the past, every time I post a long form, the automation generates a Substack blog copy for me based off of my tone and voice. And before I created a custom skill for it, like this sticky nav bar would be hit or miss. The formatting here would be hit or miss. Sometimes the YouTube URL would be at the top. Sometimes it would be in the middle. Sometimes it would actually be at the bottom like I wanted it to be, right? Once I converted that cron, everything was in the cron, by the way, for this blog automation posting, to a skill. Now the blogs show exactly how I want them to show. They're designed exactly how I want them to be designed, because I was able to get more specific in that SKILL.md, and the cron simply reads the first line of the cron or second line of the cron says, read this skill file. And then it gives it environment-based specifics in the cron and scheduling-based specifics, and then that's it. And then all of the workflow, right? All of the tasks that it needs to execute, the design tasks, the deployment tasks are all in that SKILL.md. So that's what I'm referencing. Now, not every cron needs this, right? It's primarily for repeatable workflows and tasks that you want to automate, that have a lot of steps, that have specific steps that you want to be followed each time, right? So this is just one example, right? But you apply it to your use case, your workflow, whatever you're creating your agent for. So I hope that was a good enough example there. Let me know if it wasn't. We can elaborate a little bit further. All right. Good master prompt, lots of overlap with what we already have, plus the key gaps, floating chat bubble, browser side website socket. Let me knock out both tasks in parallel. Okay, we already read that actually. Cron chat reporting done. Okay, so it updated all of our existing crons. Floating chat bubbles in process. Hey, where's that HTML preview, that video prop for skills and crons? I don't want to reference the new website resources yet because the styling there is not dialed in. Leaning towards more hyperspace agents. Let me make sure we're not waiting on, looks like it is working here because we got kicked out of chat. Okay, you're asking the chat. Great, awesome. Nice, right on. Yeah, thanks for the great question. Glad it helps. Yeah, and this week, right, we're dipping our toes with automation. Next week is all about fine-tuning and wiring things together. I think if you go look at our curriculum, I kind of update this from week to week, right? Episode 5 is going to be a big one because that's all about wiring and fine-tuning. This relates to workflows, automations, and skills, and also the multi-agent team, right? This is why I designed this in this way, to build out the UI, build out the foundation, build out each feature, then build out the team, then start to automate things here, then wire everything in here together. So I think we did a great job prepping this curriculum. And I have no regrets about the process that we took. The only regret I have is not having more time to just do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday so that this could be done in 2 weeks rather than 5. 5. Wow, can't count with my hands. I put 4 out. So that's my only regret, is not finding a way to do this in 2 weeks. But listen, my weekly hours are kind of insane right now. So this made the most sense to be consistent and show up every day and not have to cancel or postpone anything, right? So I think we're following this to the T. Now, episode 5, right? I'm going to retune all this based off of, this episode and last week's episode. But yeah, this week is all about dipping our toes here. And then next week, it's probably going to be a very long session to make sure things are wired in properly. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. Like by default, your OpenClaw agent or agents with their own workspace, soul, identities, etc., heartbeats, they always try to be more efficient. Now, they don't always spin up sub-agents, but they try to whenever possible. And that's why it's, even more critical to take the time to visualize how you want your team to operate, to visualize what agents should have access to what models, and just brain dump once a week. Talk to your agent. Use Whisperflow, unless you prefer to type. And, I still do this once a week. And I go in and I just talk to it. I talk to it about, at this point in time with Muddy OS, it's helping with my operations. ClearMud OS is helping with my operations. But I still have certain things that come up in my brain that I'm like, I need to brain dump these thoughts to Muddy because I want to improve certain things. I want to improve what agents are doing what agents have access to what skills, what tools, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just a matter of just like putting in the time to brain dump all this information, because all of that information is very, very helpful towards your automation, towards your end goal. Rather than just telling it to automate something with zero context, it's not going to perform how you want it to perform. And then additionally, once you start feeding this context about each individual agent and its responsibilities, then it will be more intelligent as far as like, okay, what sub-agents should spin up what. And then furthermore, once you get even more specific as far as like, okay, this agent should only have access to this model. What do we have to do to wire that in, right? And then you're going to notice that when it spins up sub-agents, it should always use the parent model or the default model that you specify, right? But it's all about like going through the trial and error, going through the build, going through the learning phase. My subscription definitely couldn't handle you running 3 sessions of Bootcamp in 1 week. This is actually true. This is very, very true. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, hyper specific. Okay. There's a typo there. I thought maybe sorry, give me 1 second. Let me, all right, forgive me. Anybody ever get an itch where you just got to start digging for gold? If you know the reference, if you just laughed, I just had to dig for gold. And I had to hide the camera so you didn't have to see that. Oh, let me go back to this real quick. Do you have multitasking agents? Yes. Almost 1 big skill per agent. So hopefully I'm understanding this properly. Each of my agents who have their own soul, identity, memory files, user MD files, etc., I take the time to feed the context to them. I also have a shared memory directory that each agent essentially syncs with my main user MD that I spent a ton of time with my primary OC agent, right? So that they're all aware of the overall goals and visions and just the user MD that I've taken so much time to populate. They have a more summarized version of it, but you get as specific as you'd like within each individual workspace, yes. But trying to understand this better, 1 big skill per agent, I wouldn't do 1 big skill per agent, right? Because a skill should be associated with a particular workflow and not necessarily, I guess you could create a skill for standard operating procedures per agent. That might not be a bad thing. I haven't done that yet, but I like that idea. I hope that answers your question. Hey, thank you, Tracy. And I'm happy to hear this is bringing value. Listen, this is what it's all about, just showing you the raw step by step. Nice. Hey, I'm excited to see what you build and see how Holly turns out. Thanks for sharing. All good. So you are human. Gotcha. Yes. What are you referencing? Oh. Yes. Digging for gold. Yes, I am human. I remember seeing a few comments early on saying that this is a pre-recorded boot camp. I'm like, it's amazing the FUD that you see just blindly. I guess people have been taken advantage of countless times by other creators and other channels. And it's sad to see that you're so quick to jump to conclusions. This is not pre-recorded. I mean, that's hilarious though. Yeah, it's really sad to see that there's just a general lack of trust with new channels and people discovering new channels. But the ones who stick through and consume the content and show up to the live streams, I mean, clearly I'm not fake. This is not staged. I am a real person. I make mistakes. I am not perfect. Nobody knows, but it's provocative. It gets the people going. Hold on, let's go find that GIF. Nobody knows, but it's provocative. This one. You guys know what I'm talking about, this movie. What was this? Ricky Moon? Bobby Moon? I can't remember all of his movies. But that's where that saying is a reference. I say that a lot. Roger that. Roger that. You should see an amber chat bubble in the bottom right-hand corner. Click it, say something, I'll respond there. Ooh. Now, it shouldn't be in chat, though. Yes, it disappears in chat. Mission control. Bam. We can resize it. Look at that. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice. One thing I'm not noticing, though, is when I prompt, I don't see that he received the prompt and that he's prepping a response. So let's wait a moment. Yeah. One thing I'm noticing in the main chat tab and then this floating chat bubble is when I prompt something to you, you know, in Muddy OS, what this is based off of, I can see the ... as if you're typing or thinking or responding. I don't see that in this OS. I want to build that out, please. Oh no, we're far from done. We still probably have another hour. We're moving over to skills and crons here momentarily, but please address this fix with the, I guess you call it streaming indicator or thinking state. Ooh, I don't like how skinny this is, but listen, that is a task for fine tuning next week. It's working. Let's see. Looks like the chat features everywhere else. It stays open as you navigate from tab to tab. Let's see, navigating to brain, back to ops, back to brain, back to lab. Okay, there's a slight, oh, it's refreshing, that's why. It's doing work on the code base, that's why, okay. But it looks like it stays static through all the tabs, all the features. Wonderful. Are you talking about Goat OS? Yeah, we literally vibed through this. I provide master prompts, but I don't use them. If anything, I use them as a way after vibing the build. I say, hey, here's the master prompt I prepped for today's episode. Find any gaps that we didn't cover to execute on those gaps, right? That's why I wanted to do this bootcamp, to show you the raw start to finish on how I choose to set up my OC agents, right? On how I choose to configure a mission control or an ops or a brain or a lab dashboard. It's very vibe. It's very back and forth, right? Now, it's based off of experience of building countless setups. And then obviously Muddy OS, which is dialed in for my operations. But yeah, you just work through it. It's not going to be perfect. Like, it's never going to one-shot it. build out the initial build, and then fine tune things. Just talk to it naturally. Go navigate to whatever page you want to change and just talk to it line by line, top to bottom, right? It doesn't need to see a screenshot. Now, sometimes it does. Sometimes it's good to provide a screenshot, but that's how we've been building it here. If you go back and just watch this raw bootcamp from start to finish. You just use the OpenClaw onboard feature through the setup. It's as simple as that. I've heard some people need to create multiple setup tokens and then until one works. But listen, I want to also clear the air. I haven't seen anybody post about it today, but there is some information going out there that Claude Max subscriptions are banned. Listen, if the Max subscriptions were banned, the onboard wouldn't have a setup token feature. They would remove it from OpenClaw. Additionally, the founder of OpenClaw has been open. He still uses his Claude Max subs for his OC agent. Okay, so whoever's telling you that it's banned is clickbaiting you into watching their content, is giving you information that isn't necessarily true, right? So listen, proceed with caution. I hate how vague Anthropic is. They are very, very vague. They could one day come out and say, listen, we are actively banning anybody using setup tokens with OpenClaw. So proceed at your own risk, right? But it works. Like, don't listen to the people telling you it's banned, is what I'm saying. But also proceed with caution. Double-edged sword there, if that's the right way to use that saying. I guess it depends. What model are you using? Maybe you're not using Opus 4.6. Maybe that's why you're discovering a different, different issues, right? I'm using Opus 4.6 for everything here. So maybe that's the differentiator there between the demo and what you're building with. All right, let's do a hard refresh. Let's see where we stand with the chat. Ping. Look at that. Now we see the 3 dots. Okay, great. Aha, there we go. So that could be why, right? Not could be, that is why. Hey, I gotta say, I'm very proud of everybody here in this chat. We have 33 likes and 32 live viewers. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so moving along now. I wish there was a way for me to manually, I'm gonna update this curriculum and what was covered. All right, now it's time. Oh, come on. All right, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to go into... Let me pull this off screen really quickly because I need to access resources. Preview equals true. Okay. I really wanted it to pull up the original one because I hate how this is a wall of text. But we're going to do this. We're going to copy paste these. This video prop is available. These prompts are available if you go look at that video from 2 weeks ago. All right, next up, I'm going to paste in a SKILL.md template as well as a new Cron template that I would like to follow. I want you to first do a deep dive into all of our existing Cron jobs and analyze which ones need their own SKILL.md based off of the number of steps, in any given workflow. And then I want to convert our existing crons into SKILL.mds. The first line of those crons that we convert should read that skill file, right? And this also needs to be properly wired in. Like this should go without saying, but we have a skills tab in the brain. It's a skills directory. Every new skill we create should always be synchronized here. Just please confirm that that's already wired in, so that's not something we have to go back and forth on. And let me know if you have any questions. And I'm going to paste in that text there. So what's really cool now that we have this floating chat bubble is now I don't have to go back to chat or tab. I could just go between whatever features we're working on and chat with Goat. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Hey, thank you, Niski. Yeah, happy to help. And thanks for tuning in since January. Awesome, man. I really appreciate you for being here. And you know what? Just because I want a full screen view for stream, let's go back to chat. Okay, cool. So that wiring is already in place. I just wanted to confirm it because we built out that skeleton 2 episodes ago. So I wanted to just be thorough before we start creating skills. Right? I have my agent do a lot of this stuff for me, and I recommend you do the same, right? I currently do not. I will be setting up this type of access. Sadly, I'm not going to show the build for Muddy OS once I get that working. I will show it off in future demos. I just don't want anybody to try to hack. Like one thing to keep in mind with the SSH access, if it's within your local network, it's safer, right? But when you enable SSH access from the outside world, you have to make sure it is as secure as can be. Depending on if you're using VPS hosting versus hosting it locally. If you open up ports to the outside world, anybody can try to exploit you, right? So that's my only caveat with enabling SSH access into your OpenClaw setup. Is it local, or are you actually opening it up to where you can SSH from anywhere in the world? This right here, Ryan's doing it the right way. And I believe I shared in past live streams. Let's just go highlight it really quickly. This dude, I believe he's the founder of, I follow him because I used to be a user of Nomads. So I've been following him for a while, but he mentioned something. Let's search VPS. Can't we just search one person's post? Try the new post filters? Isn't there a way to search one person's profile page here? I don't see it though. Huh. He posts a lot, so I'm gonna try to scroll back. Oh, you know what? Didn't I save? Pinned? Nope. This right here. Screenshot this. Go follow Level SIO if you're not already. Screenshot this, feed this to your agent. Oh, it's just LAN? Then you're good. As long as you trust people in your network, then you're good. And just do some basic security. Ask your OC setup for some basic, security suggestions. So, hey, I appreciate you, man. All in due time. Baby steps to greatness is a saying I love to say that I adopted from a childhood friend of mine. Just baby steps to greatness. Just keep showing up every day. Just keep improving with each step, each iteration. And that's I'm not going anywhere. I'm in this for the long haul. And I'm looking forward to the day that this is my full time. Right now, I split up my time between client work, side projects, and this channel, and other things that come up. I spend a lot of hours per week between everything. I would love it if ClearMud was paying me, but this channel is making $0. I am doing this all on my free time. That will change with time, right? But I'm looking forward to the day where this is literally my full-time job. But baby steps to greatness here, okay? All right, let me first, yeah, you verified 8 steps, self-improvement build, needs skill. 4 phases, 12 steps, yep, needs skill. Daily brief, needs skill. Daily stand-up, convert to skill. It already uses a separate instruction file that is a skill, just not in the right place. No questions, I've got the templates. Summary, 7 of 8 crons need skills. So which was the one that didn't? The nightly backup, technically, you don't need a skill for it. Unless, of course, you're backing up to multiple endpoints or multiple destinations. Then I would recommend a skill. But hey, let's trust the agent here. All right, looks like it's already done. Let's go take a look at skills, shall we? Self-improvement build. All right, one note I think we have to improve for the skills directory is when I click a skill, I can't view the entire MD. When you click a skill, that pop-up module should go almost full screen with some slight padding and margins around the edges. And it should show the entire markdown. Now, it should give us a raw / markdown render preview. By default, we should show the render with, consumable text, right? It shouldn't just be a wall of text with hashtags and asterisks, et cetera, et cetera. It should be styled properly. So it should show that markdown format render first, but then you should add a toggle to view the raw output for that markdown file. This should work across all of our skills that we create. Currently, it only shows us a description, the ID, the source, the status, and what it's used by. It doesn't show us the actual skill itself. All right, so some slight improvements here. No, I'm not. I'm using an M1 Max MacBook Pro. It's my primary laptop, but I use sandboxed VMs. So I use VMware Fusion. I deployed Ubuntu Desktop on their own individual VMs. I think my main Muddy has 4 cores and 12 gigs of RAM. Goat has 2 cores and 6 gigs of RAM, if I'm not mistaken. So eventually, and the reason I'm doing it this way is I have a server that runs off of VMware ESXi. It's a hypervisor that allows me to utilize the core hardware and create as many virtual machines as I'd like. Building them out in VMware Fusion is going to be a draggable copy paste for me to copy paste each VM into that environment once I get back to California. I just prefer it this way as well because this doesn't give it full access to your main machine, right? So I do not use a Mac Mini. Listen, I'm not against them. Listen, if you have the budget, cool. I want to think thoughtfully about what I'm about to say. I'm all about starting lean. For my position, Mac Mini is a waste of time for me, right? Yeah, that's all I'll say on that matter. You don't need a Mac Mini. Get through with what you have and then justify the expense before you pay for it. Now, listen, if you have the money for it and you want to buy one, by all means do that. Like, that's just not my recommendation. Yeah, I'm not running local models on this machine. Nice. Hey, I'm going to have to order one and test the Raspberry Pis. I think the Raspberry Pis I have back in my studio, they're all older. They're all at least 4 years old plus, All right, we can see it's updating. Let's go back to skills. Look at that. Now we can actually read the skill. Wonderful. Okay. Now I also want to make sure, can we go read the crons in here? Oh no, we put those in Brain, didn't we? Automation, crons. Look at that. It's already updated everything. So OS documentation, read and follow this skill. Here's the context. Look at this. Wow. Beautiful. Self-improvement build. Read and follow that skill that it just created. Beautiful. Oh. This makes me happy that it one-shot this. Okay, nightly backup is based off of a script. That's why it didn't need it. And look how short this cron is, right? Very minimal text. Micro SAS research, read and follow this skill. Let's go reference that skill, micro SAS research. And here's all the sauce of what it does, right? You don't want to put all this in your cron. Beautiful. Oh, let's also test that raw versus rendered. Look at this. Solid. Beautiful. Oh, amazing. Nice. And listen, see, you know you can use it. You know you need it, right? I'm only against Mac Minis for beginners. Like, don't just go blindly buy one because this person said to buy one. Justify that you need it. Ryan, I already know he needs it, right? So I'm excited to see what you build with yours. Hey, I'm also shopping around for a new MacBook Pro. Now that the M5 Max came out. I'm looking at used M4 Maxes, but I did realize I have a friend who works at Apple. So I'm going to talk to her to see what kind of discount they get and then justify, like, okay, if I get a brand new one from her with the discount versus a used one on eBay, what's the difference in price? I might just go and get the M5 Max, almost fully maxed out. I'm probably going to do a 4 terabyte drive, maxed out memory. And then this old M1 is probably going to live somewhere permanently on 24/7 running an OC agent or two that's backed up to my NAS servers as well. But yeah, Ryan, I'm excited to like share it in the Discord. I believe you're in there, right? I'm excited to see what you build out with that M5. Day any good for different projects? I want to build an app for my... Yeah, I feel like a Pi would be the move there for sure. Very lightweight, very low power for sure. Running in Docker, but mission controls in separate containers. So each time OC makes a significant change, it asks me to restart mission control. Yeah, I can't speak to Docker environments. I'm guessing this is set up in a Windows environment if you're using Docker? Or is this in a Mac-based environment? I have a Pi 5 running a local database and a couple Discord bots, but doing that kind of thing, make sure using NVM. Yep. NVMe, forgive me. What size NVMe storage do you have on that? Burn. Just know it's amazing. Oh, Derek. Yeah, Windows. Okay. Yeah, usually Docker is the go-to for Windows. I know in some Mac environments you'll use Docker as well. Have you asked your agent about this? Listen, I only speak of things that I use and know thoroughly. I have set up a demo on how to set it up in Windows, but I don't use it in Windows at all. So I can't speak to this specifically, but the approach that I would take here is to explain this frustration, this issue with your agent, explain the environment, explain the containers, explain all of the different environmental based specifics, and ask its recommendations. You know, that's the approach that I would take personally. Yeah, he was kidding. He was kidding. He was kidding. He was kidding. Okay, nice. I think in the case where you have multiple OpenClaw setups on one piece of hardware, sure. I'm taking the approach of creating separate VMs on one piece of software rather than one operating system with multiple Docker environments. That's just how I prefer it. I can see why you take that approach though. 1 terabyte NVMe from the before times. Yeah. I'm very happy I bought all the NVMEs that I did. I have a handful of 4 terabytes, 2 terabytes, 1 terabytes from my IT days. I really wish I bought a 4 terabyte Samsung. The Samsung I forget what number they're on now, but the Samsung whatever Pros are the best, in my opinion, the most reliable and best NVMEs out there. I have had issues with, what was the recent one I bought that had just tons of issues with? I don't want to say it's Crucial. It is, I'm having a brain fart right now. I don't have it with me. Yo, what's up, Josh? Welcome. Yeah, we're just doing a quick Q&A before we continue with the boot camp. Bought 2 Pi 5. Now I'm going to have to order one because now I'm kind of thinking like, I have an idea, but I don't want to share it publicly yet. I appreciate you, Josh. Blah, blah. Today I'm mumbling clearly. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm on a 10-year-old gaming rig with a GPU that works. Hey, my gaming rig is a repurposed rig from old client hardware. But that's back in the States. That's my Windows-based PC. Yeah, so I do plan on ordering one of those Jetsons when I get back. I'm just not ordering anything while I'm here because import tax in Portugal is horrible. I was going to say a different word. I'm trying to restrain myself. But yeah, listen, I've always been a big advocate for NVIDIA. I have a funny story back when I was running the family business and working in the retail shop, you know, handling the floor, handling repairs, handling customer front facing requests. I had this gentleman and his son come in on a Saturday, right? It was always Saturdays were always chill days at the family business. And, you know, normal line of questioning, like AMD versus NVIDIA, Intel versus AMD, asking, and this was at the time where Intel dominated over AMD. Things have definitely changed quite a bit. This was at least 10 years ago, right? Possibly 12 years ago. Well, you know, I always give my honest feedback. Like my experience is, yes, AMD might be cheaper. They might benchmark better, but they overheat more. They cause more issues. This was back then. I'd tell you to go with NVIDIA. And he kept like asking me questions. I think he was in the store for like 20, 25 minutes. And he walks out to his car to leave, et cetera. His son walks in with this big backpack and it's got the NVIDIA tag on it. I still have the backpack to this day. I still have some of like the freebies they gave me to this day. Just so happens he was an NVIDIA rep. And he was just curious on what I would recommend. He was out and about with his son on a Saturday. I still have that backpack. I still have all the freebies. The beanie doesn't fit me anymore. But just a funny moment like of experience with NVIDIA. We never ran into any reps from AMD coming out to our shop. We had a lot of reps come out to our shop because, you know, we're not in the Silicon Valley, but over the bridge from the Silicon Valley. So we were very local to the tech scene in the Bay Area. But funny story there. But yeah, I wish I kept that guy's card. I'd have to dig through old boxes because as I mentioned, this was 10, 12 years ago. I would love to reach out to share what I'm building, to share what I'm doing, to see if he's A, still working there, and B, wants to help sponsor the channel, you know, give us some fun stuff to work on and demo with new videos. I think would be a lot of fun. I found a 2-year-old Dell computer in my son's room from Xmas. He doesn't touch. Nice. Yeah. Scroll up if you can. We sent out a Discord link with 10 invites earlier. Buy one so I can ask you 100 questions in TM. I got you covered, Derek. I got you. All right, let's move along here, shall we? Without squirrel ado. Now, I think it's safe to say, I'm going to close this gateway chat. This is a great feeling that we have our own chat feature built in to Goat OS now. So we're going to do a hard refresh. Done. Refresh Goat OS. Click on any skill brain. Here's what's changed. Near full screen model. Yep. Let's actually double check that metadata. Used by Cron's. Okay. This metadata here, I'm guessing. Nice. Okay, so next up on our curriculum for today is I want to hand off codebase to you. I think we can get away with a git pull. However, if you want my local codebase for that project, I can hand that off as well. Please check out ClawCrib.com. It's a tool that I launched that's live. It's in beta. It's meant to be a free resource for the public. And I want Jim Halpert to be our account manager and handle this project moving forward. Now, the way I would like it to work is, we have a feature tab on ClawCrib.com, right? So first I want to hand off this product code base. I want to set up a staging and production environment. And then I want a bug versus feature workflow where Jim Halpert, once a day, we can determine the frequency and how to automate this best per your recommendations. But I want a bug versus feature workflows where bugs are fixed within 24 hours, feature requests are handled on a weekly basis. Now, they do need my approval to push it to production, but this is why we want to set up a staging versus production environment. And then I want a user feedback loop as well, which we already have on the website. And I think that's it for now. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know where to hand off this code base or if we should do a git pull. All right. Moving into the sauce, some more sauce here, huh? Yeah, I'm sure I have more to it, but yeah, it was just one of those memories that I have of NVIDIA just being awesome, Yeah, I'm a big NVIDIA fanboy. I have been for quite some time. They've always been the most reliable GPUs, hands down. No, I would have recognized him. It was not him. It was not him. Hey, Juan, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you for being here. Welcome. Yeah, we squirreled a little bit. We were doing some story, and now we're continuing along with the bootcamp build here. So this is the curriculum we're following today: workflows, automations, and skills. Next up, we're kind of handing off a code base of ClawCrib here, which is actually live, which I personally, as you can still see, I use it. When I run into errors, I don't prompt my agent, especially when my agent's not responding, right? I come into ClawCrib.com/help, and I use this awesome free resource. Yo, what's up, Alejandro? I've been on for 2 hours and 16 minutes here. Oh, yes, we do. And we've built that out. I think we built that out episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so it wants the repo URL. So we just converted the cron into a skill, but I'll show you here, self-improvement build. So this is what it does every night, the steps it takes. And if we go into the laboratory to build logs, at the beginning of the episode, we do discover that, things broke over the week and we fixed it, but this is everything that it's self-improved on. And that first week, it built out a lot of features for us before we actually finished the week 2 skeleton build here on the bootcamp. But as you can see, it's been pretty smooth sailing until, of course, this morning, which if you watch back this bootcamp, you'll discover why they failed as well. All right, drop me a repo URL. So I know me showing this URL is not going to be an issue. Give me 1 second though. One of the negatives with doing things live is sometimes you expose things that allow people to exploit you. So I want to be mindful of that. So give me a second as I hand off this code base. I think the safe move here is just to put this over here. And I'm going to take care of this really quickly. Let's go to that GitHub repo. Should be called ClawCrib. Because Goat OS doesn't have credentials for any GitHub accounts, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to set up some rules here. And maybe I should do this with a dummy code base. That way you guys can see the step by step. Yeah, so I mean, I'll bring this back on screen, but as you can see here, it's a private repo, right? It needs authentication. We either need to give it a GitHub token or SSH key. So this part, obviously, I'm not going to show on air for something that's in production. So you're going to have to bear with me here. And I'm just going to have to handle this off screen because all right, let's pull Muddy over here. So I want to pull that, add a deploy key, call it goat VM. ClawCrib settings keys. Called deploy keys, goat VM, paste that in there. And allow write access, and we should be good to go here. Verify via email. Key is already in use. What? Oh, that's like that's funny. Apparently we created a key for the Goat OS backup repo, and it tried giving me the same key, and it detected this. So let me just go one more time. Create a separate key. Goat VM, paste in, allow write, add key, deploy key. Done. We're almost ready to bring it back on screen. Thanks for everyone's patience here. I just don't want anybody with the permission or ability to try to exploit that project, because it's bound to happen. Build a local Whisper voice transcribe so you're able to send direct voice to your models. Yeah, so for Muddy OS, my main agent, I actually do this through Telegram. That's where I send all my voice notes, especially that's when I'm on the go, out and about, running an errand, doing whatever, X, Y, and Z. Or even if I'm traveling and I take my system offline, I can queue up voice notes. And once my system's back online, it transcribes everything and then executes on whatever I voice to text there. Or not voice to text, whatever voice notes I send, right? So, but this is a great thing, I think, to wire in next week, right? Maybe we set up a Telegram channel for those who want to know how to set up a Telegram channel. Wow, they were serving customers. Are you talking about NVIDIA, my NVIDIA story? I love the chat. I love the inner chat here. Any obvious things you'd point out to avoid rate limits? I think I followed your basic Cron heartbeat setup, but I feel like agents are either dormant or rate limiting lately. What plan are you running? Because I think you got to first determine is maybe you need a beefier plan. One thing I discovered through personal experience and just a majority of people in the community, $20 a month plans max out quick in 5-hour blocks, especially if you're using it a ton. There's really no way around that, right? The way around that is investing in yourself a little bit more and trying to afford that higher monthly tier plan. Or of course, if you have the hardware for it, going for a local model as well. Yeah, that's another alternative as well. Hey, I'm happy to hear this, Alejandro. I can't wait to see screenshots of it as well. I'll send out another one momentarily. Give me a sec. All right, we'll send out another 5 because I'm detecting another 5 here. Oh. Interesting. Are you talking about, like, can you give me some more specifics? What errors are you receiving? Are you legitimately going through your 5-hour block on a 5x max plan? Like consistently? I'm curious because, yeah, there's an underlying issue there. But it's also environment specific. I don't know how you're using your max plan, if you're using it across your mobile, everything, and then using it frequently every minute, every hour, every day, right? Like, I need a little bit more context to help you there. Okay. Might have timed out on a large repo. Let's see. All right. Cool. So we're done. API keys are hidden now. So it is pulling in all that data, and we're just going to wait now at this point. All right, and forgive me, chat. I drank way too much coffee and water. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we're going to come out and finish this episode. So give me a second here. All right, we are back. Check for bugs feedback and push this first fix to staging. Okay, let's see. How did it set everything up? Okay, so we technically never set up a staging branch for this project. We've just been committing to Git, merging to main. The Gemini CLI was an original branch that we built out. to see how Gemini would build things. But we're primarily operating off of the main branch. I operate off of the CMux terminal locally to make changes when I'm working on it on Mondays and Fridays, usually just Mondays. So I think what you'll have to do is definitely create a staging branch, and then use the staging database on Convex as well, because we're using the production database on Convex. And then I don't know if we set up any staging environment on Vercel, so we'll have to go in and specify that to get that working properly. But yeah, Jim should be our primary source of contact for that project. So let me know what else we have to do to wire things together, to make sure that you can ping me and I can visit staging.clawcrib.com, for example, that only my public IP can address or can access it, and review the changes before we push to production. And then more importantly, right, this automation, did you create a skill for it? I'm reading here that you did. I just want you to give me a recap of how this is all going to work, and I hope that this brain dump was helpful. So this is something you'll find that I do frequently. It's like, my agent said he did the job, but I still want to brain dump everything on my mind. Any questions I have, regardless of if they're smart or dumb, whatever. You know, I have a rule here, as you've learned. The only dumb question is not asking the question. So brain dump your agent as much as possible. This goes a long way, right? Sharing your thoughts with your agent. It goes a very, very long way. And we'll catch up on chat here in a moment. Oh, before I do, let's get five links out there. Okay. Okay, we already have the convex staging deployment. I'll paste in that link momentarily. I think I can only connect a staging branch to Vercel once the branch is created. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then IP restriction preference. I think a simple password gate for staging. I'll define that password a little bit later, as I don't want to share that password on the live stream. So that's one minor thing I will do with you off air, is just to dial in the ClawCrib configuration. Since this is a production tool, I don't want people to try to exploit it. And, you know, I was going to say something. I chose not to. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure people don't exploit it. So let me know if you have any questions there. Okay, so it already did push a staging branch earlier at the start of this. Okay. This is actually a great idea. Create separate API keys per branch. Keep that separate. Okay. Yeah, give me that to-do list. Set up a cron to ping me at 9 p.m. tonight. Actually, 10 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going to get some good sleep tonight as much as I can, and we'll tackle this tomorrow morning. But yes, we do have a few more things to go over today. Now, our PM board, I believe our agents already discussed this, but a client email intake, creating a system where clients email a specific address and an account manager picks it up on a defined schedule. Example, every 24 hours, the agent reads, classifies, and routes the request to the right team member. Proposal generation, I'm pretty sure this is in the PM board that the agents already discussed building, but it was never built. So we're supposed to build the workflow for generating client proposals from discovery notes, automate the data gathering, formatting, and draft stages while keeping human approval as the gate. Appointment scheduling plus reminders, build scheduling flows that create calendar events and send reminders at the right intervals. And then status report generation. Automate client-ready status reports that pull from your task board, recent work logs, and project milestones. So this is our last 4 line items here. Now, I want you to first look over the PM board because I have a feeling these might all exist in the to-do. And then additionally, since we just created that automation that I believe it's every morning at 10 a.m., agents execute on PM board to-do and in progress, et cetera, like maybe we force that right now. Maybe we force a, what did you call it? Let me go navigate to the automation. A post stand-up, yeah, a work session essentially, right? Because we have to do a catch-up work session where we address everything on the PM board. But please cross-reference everything I just brain dumped in and make sure we're not being repetitive. And if it's covered, hey, it's covered. Let's force a work session now. All right, another brain dump. As you see here, another brain dump. That's what I'm thinking the Discord show and tells or Discord lounges are going to be for, right? Because then I don't have to worry about getting a copyright strike from YouTube. I don't have to worry about, I just don't have to worry about these things that you have to worry about on YouTube. I can use profanity without having to bite my tongue, which I don't use it often, but it will naturally flow depending on what I'm talking about and how passionate I am about something. So I think that's where the Discord streams would come in handy. Yeah, this is solid. I have this on Muddy OS personally. And I talk about this. Did I release that video yet? Did I release that video yet? I could have sworn I released that video. Executive. Yeah, right here. Plus SKILL.md. So this is a memory maintenance skill. Now this is for your multi-agent team, but I highly recommend, like going back to what Niski said here, you have to have some type of automation in place to automatically prune and trim and consolidate. Otherwise you will eventually get to the point where each prompt is just chewing up, 1 to 2% of your weekly usage. Okay. I do talk about it in this video. I think I should make another video solely focused on it, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Let's review this really quickly. Let me make sure I catch up as much as possible. Right on. Well, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, like one rule I have for this channel is I don't want to, I really want to stay true to never selling you a course. I'm never going to paywall content that I think should be free. These boot camps, boot camps plural because I have more planned. They will be free, right? We may have sponsors for future boot camps. We will definitely have sponsors for future boot camps because we have to start thinking from that perspective. But I will never sell you a course. Now, my multi-agent team did suggest at some point we start a community, but the community is more so for people who want to start and finish a project and deploy it and want our assistance. That's much different than what we're doing here on YouTube, right? So that's more technical support / we hold your hand and build with you from start to finish for a monthly fee. That is in the works at some point. But right now, listen, I'm not thinking about that. That's a future task that my multi-agent team recommended on my Saturday Vision Sync. And I got to say, I love the idea, but you know, I just don't have time for that right now, if I'm being brutally honest with you. And I'm not going to start something like that right now. I'm not here to take advantage of you. I'm here to be of service to you. I'm here to provide value. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. And that will never change. Hey, you know what? So we shout out to, who was it? Raymond, I believe. Raymond gave the popped an idea into my head to do a recap bootcamp episode where we look over all 5 episodes and we talk about, key takeaways from each episode, things we learned from episode to episode. That way, not only is it a way to promote the entire Raw series, but it's also a way for somebody to just go watch that first, and then they can choose on whether or not they want to go back and watch through the entire bootcamp series. My 2 attempts to move my office have been completely insane. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to understand this. I thought you just said have made me completely insane. Have been completely insane. So I'm guessing it's just blowing your mind on what they're doing, right? This is awesome. Yeah, of course. As an elder millennial, joining a Discord sounds like something a youth would say, but I'll look into it. So Discord is an application. I think it was primarily built for gamers, but it's a place for you to go create a server. For those who don't know what Discord means, I know Discord, they chose that name strategically, right? But it's just a place where you create a server with different channels, go stream your screen, et cetera, talk with friends and build community. That's like the gist of it. As an elder millennial myself who runs and belongs to a Discord servers, you'll manage. That's awesome. Yeah, right? Hey, thanks for sharing. I can't wait to see more about what you're doing. Yeah, pop in the Discord. That's the best place to share your builds with me if you don't want to make them public on X. All right, so let's go. It looks like it was doing some work. Let's go into chat. Let's zoom this out a little bit, get some more text on screen. All fired off. Here's the complete status. PM board cleanup, 9 obsolete GOAT tasks marked done. They were all implement work sessions tasks that we built today. Wonderful. Task 11 and 12 marked done. Board is seeded. ClawCrib onboarded. 4 tasks created. Client email intake. Pam hi. March 28th, 3 days. Proposal generation workflow. Michael hi. 3 days. Appointment scheduling plus reminders. Plus automated status report generation, plus the existing agent tasks that have been stuck since day 1. Yep, we discovered that earlier. Reminder set tomorrow, ping you 10 a.m. Okay. Work session, all 5 agents are being spawned to work on their PM board tasks. This is the first real execution session. I'll report results when they finish. Okay. And then I'm going to do this off air because listen, this is a production tool. I probably should have thought ahead and built something dummy, something temporary, something that I can expose everything and show you the step-by-step. Maybe we make a video out of it. Maybe we do that in the Discord. I'm not sure. But I think we've been showing so much value here. I haven't seen any complaints about me pulling that part off screen. So. All right. And just to confirm, right? So the issue we ran into is we set up the stand-ups last week and they worked. The first 2 days, There were actual Discord and conversation between the agents. However, since the action items weren't being completed or agents weren't spinning up sub-agents to complete the tasks, by Friday, Saturday, it was just getting repetitive with nothing has been done, nothing has been done, nothing has been done, right? And then Tuesday didn't work at all. Wednesday, the stand-up was not run. The Cron fired for the third time since the team's 4-1 pause vote on, they paused to vote on March 22nd. That's hilarious. That's why it stopped. That is hilarious. I didn't read the specifics. So I want to make sure that now moving forward, right, after each stand-up, the post stand-up work sessions work, right? So that each stand-up, we continue improving, right? I guess a negative here is I only check on this system once a week. So we really just let the system run for 7 days. I want peace of mind knowing that every stand-up is going to be executed on every single day between now and the 1st of April. Can you please confirm everything's wired together so that I can trust that I'm going to come back to a load of surprises on April 1st? All right. Smart. Very smart. You just know the strengths and weaknesses of your son and yourself. You're like, wait, this is right up his alley. I'm just going to have him run all of my Discord stuff. This is awesome. Let's wait for it to respond. It's giving me the first kind of like, let me be straight with you response I've seen, I think, here on Goat OS, which is very interesting. Let's go to chat. Okay. Let me be straight with you. I owe you honesty, not false confidence. Let me check the work session that's running right now. There it is, the exact same bug. The work session cron just did the same thing the stand-up does. It spawned agents called session yield, and all the isolated session ended. Running in parallel, yielded to collect results. That's Groundhog Day bug. Skill says do not use the agent. Okay, here's the hard truth. I can't guarantee this works reliable until I've proven the pattern works. The fundamental issue is that isolated cron sessions and sessions yield don't play nicely together. Okay. So I'm reading through your response here, so I'm just going to give you a raw brain dump. So since you can't guarantee that, this works reliably until you've proven the pattern works, and you've detected the fundamental issue, what can we do to improve our system and change whatever you need to change to make sure that this works, right? Moving along, let me check if the subagents actually ran despite the parent dying. Wait, look at this. Parent session died. Sessions yield bug, but the subagents ran anyway and delivered. First work session results. Looks like Pam got 3 tasks done, and we can confirm that these tasks are done. Kevin Malone, finance gap report, found $16 in untracked open spend, cost calculator spec, token to dollar tracking, okay. Clear mode client profile, okay. Session shows active for Dwight, but no final message. Okay. Now here's what I can tell you honestly about the next 6 days. What will work? Subagents execute even when the parent orchestrator session dies. Stand up at 8:30 will generate action items and post a PM board. Work sessions at 9:30 will spawn subagents who will do real work. Is that hour enough time, Goat? Do we need to increase that to 90 minutes to ensure the stand-up has enough time to complete? Each agent updates their own PM board, results post, nightly builds. Now, do all the agents have access to all the tools that they need to execute anything on the PM board? And fix these known gaps. Now, what you're doing about it, the agents deliver regardless. The roll-up is nice to have. The PM board is the single source of truth. Check it when you come back on April 1st, and you'll see task statuses updated by agents themselves. Yeah, and another thing I think we want to incorporate, wire this in however you think is best, is let's say I click on a PM board task item or module, and it's referencing something, a new feature that it built, a new bug that it fixed, a new client project that it worked on, there should be an easy way to click on said bug, said improvement, et cetera, to automatically forward over to that particular part of that fix associated with that PM board item. Hope this brain dump is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, another brain dump. Do you really want April 1st surprises? Listen. Oh yeah, April 1st. Good old, I used to be a knucklehead about April 1st. Oh, you couldn't trust me on April 1st. I'm an adult now. At least most days I am. I'm still a child at heart, but. So maybe this is a teaser into maybe don't believe everything you hear on next week's episode. I don't know. Is this the chat window you're in? Is the chat window you're in new? Yeah, so this episode we discovered, right? To start the episode, we troubleshooted what broke over the past 7 days. And we found a solution to just build our own chat feature within Goat OS. And it was my intent to do this on the last episode of this bootcamp, but since we wanted to fix some of the automation, I figured let's just build it live. So it's something we added to the curriculum today. We kind of just spontaneously did this. It is based off of MuddyOS's chat feature. One thing you'll notice is we have access to all of our individual agents as well, but go to our main agent. And then a fun feature that we built, when you're navigating through the entire Goat OS, no matter what module you're on, no matter what tab you're on, except for chat, it disappears. You can chat with Goat. So you can work on your OS, different parts of your OS, different parts of your brain, different parts of your laboratory, all without having to tab over to another chat window. So this is really cool. We vibe coded this entirely. I pasted in a master prompt I exported from MuddyOS. Everything is literally shown on this episode. So I don't mean to be rude, but if you can't figure it out, you're either being lazy or you're just not watching through the entire episode and screenshotting all of the parts that we vibe coded and prompted this chat feature. So I don't mean to be rude there, but I just want to make sure, just watch through this entire episode from start to finish, and you'll see me build out this chat feature that you can then replicate on your own OS as well. All right, let's go back to chat though. Just because I like reading it from here rather than a pop-up here. Okay, yeah, we did give it another 30 minutes. Agent self-report, ClawCrib daily maintenance moved from 10 to avoid the collision. Okay, great. What I fixed for reliability, work session skill rewritten, fire and forgot pattern, each agent self-reports to Goat OS chat, no sessions yield. Okay, rewritten. They have all the tools they need. Every concept reports. Now, one other thought that I have is we took the time to build out links to each individual agent chat. Should the delivery channel for those agents be their chat? What do you think the best approach here is? Like, if this were MuddyOS, I wouldn't be showing the chats to my sub-agents, or rather my agents. I have MuddyOS orchestrate everything for me. I structured it in a way where my direct line is Muddy, that's it. I don't want to deal with 6, 7 chat windows. But because the community requested this type of setup, we've set this up to where we can now chat with each one of our agents individually. Right now, everything dumps into the system channel as a flat feed, but each agent has their own channel sitting right there in the sidebar. Here's what I'd recommend: 2-tier delivery. Post their own results. Okay, when you click Jim Halpert in the sidebar, you see everything Jim's done, his fixes, his deliverables. Stays as the high-level feed, cron summaries. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Fix is straightforward. I'd much rather have you wire things together right now. But you know what? Maybe we go with Goat's recommendation. Let it run as is. The only issue is then we're not going to be able to review the changes until this bonus episode 6 that we're going to record of this boot camp, which is probably going to be honest. I'm going to do 2 weeks after the fact. I'm not sure if it's going to be the immediate week after because I do travel that week. I won't have time to live stream that Wednesday. Here I am brain dumping all these thoughts. Oh, let's update that battery real quick. All right. Yeah, I think you should wire it all together right now, right? Give me a recap of everything you do. I believe a lot of this is just associated with updating crons plus skills. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Yeah, once you're done, is there any way to test this? Maybe you can spin up a one-time post stand-up work sessions, more so as a health checker than anything. What time is it? Oh, wow. Okay. I lost track of time. Almost 3 hours on this one. Wonderful. Yeah, we're going to open up the floor to Q&A here momentarily. So queue up any questions that you may have because we are wrapping up with the finishing touches on today's episode here. Next week's going to be a big one. It's going to be all about wiring and fine tuning. All right, let's post in this prompt here as well. Oh, I forgot to hit enter. Okay. All right. We're just testing here. Yeah, of course. Hey, I look forward to seeing what chat feature you build. We show off everything step by step here, so. Hey, thank you, Backwoods. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do a VPS series, but I do have VPS videos planned. It's just, I'm not going to do a boot camp about, maybe I do a boot camp of let's learn VPS together with OpenClaw. Maybe that's a series in itself. The only issue I see there is like, you know, with VPS, you have to be security focused. And when you're working on one from scratch, well, I'm going to have to show a lot of the sauce on how things are configured, right? Like I wouldn't want to do it with an OC setup that I want to use. So I think I would first set up my own, learn, and then we create a dummy setup for VPS, following the step-by-step. That way I don't care if anybody tries to hack it or exploit it because we're literally showing everything on screen, right? That's a tricky one to do a bootcamp live around. But I can make videos around that easily without, you know, giving away critical information that's going to allow people to hack me. You know what I mean? So, okay. We don't see anything in chat yet. What are you talking about? So I'm looking in Michael Scott, Jim Halpert, Dwight, Pam, Kevin. I don't see any notes from them in the chat. Oh, and you answer my question. So is the session send to individual agent channels? Well, wouldn't we run into an error on these cron jobs if you couldn't, like, let's test that. Maybe create a dummy cron with something to test it right now. I just want to test that this works, right? Yeah, and that's another thing. Listen, I'm sure you've heard me say this. I'm going to be a broken record for anybody new to the channel. I'm not going to just make a video because it's either, you know, highly requested or I think it's going to get a lot of clicks. I have to first test something. And I want to make sure that what I'm speaking is true. So I'll never rush a video out there just for the sake of like trying to capture attention in a moment of time. Now, I do plan on doing VPS, but it's in my queue, but it's kind of delayed right now. So just keep that in mind. Like when I release a video, I've had a lot of time to work on it and understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to just go drop a video, rush it out there and not fully understand what I'm doing, right? So, okay, look at this. Michael Scott, I got a ping there. Jim Halpert, got it. Message received loud and clear. Delivery channels, confirm working on my end. Let's go. Let's go. Yep, got it. Channel wired up. Where's Dwight and Pam and Kevin though? Why am I seeing it in this main GOAT chat? Why am I seeing Michael and Jim's responses in GOAT chat? Additionally, I didn't see any tests succeed to Dwight, Pam, or Kevin. Those should be individual sessions. I'm not sure why this is feeding into our main chat. Please explain. Got it. Okay. It just did a manual test. Fix for productions. Nice, nice. I love how it has this like ninja, what do you call that? Karate emoji. That's really funny. That's really accurate. Pam Beasley. She's got the little artistic. That's awesome. And he's got food. Jim's got the face. And then Michael's got a trophy. That's hella funny. This is so accurate to things within the office. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, cool. So are we all set? Or is there anything you're waiting on me? I know we got to do a few things off air that I'll tackle tomorrow morning. All right. Homework, convert all your existing crons. All right, so here's some homework for you guys. Now that we're wrapping things up, what I want you to do with your setup is I want you to convert all of your existing crons. First, communicate with your agent the way you witnessed me communicating earlier in this episode with Goat, and talk about this approach. Feed it that template, screenshot the screen that I showed you, and then document what broke and how you fix it, right? Be hands-on this week with making sure that you optimize your crons, create a skill for them, and then just learn more about that process, that workflow, right, with your agent. And I think that's a solid amount of homework for today. Additionally, come prepared next week. Give me all the questions so I can give you all the answers. anything we haven't discussed that you want to wire together, any automation that you want to create that we haven't created, we can create together. Any agent communication that you want to focus on, like bring the questions next week, because next week is all about bringing it all together, right? So not only for GoToS, but I want to answer your questions as best as possible. Yeah. So let's do a live Q&A. I'm going to wait for the questions to roll in while we're doing that final test. Let's see. We're all set. Nothing blocking on my end. Here's what's happening without you. Tonight, autonomous docs update at midnight, backup to GitHub at 2 a.m., overnight GoToS improvement at 3 a.m. Oh, that's also something for me to check on. Let's go to GoToS. Let's go into preferences. Let's close that. Let's clear up as much memory as possible. No, it's not going to be in there. Let's close. Close. Minimize. Let me make sure displays power balanced. Okay. Yeah, there's no sleep mode. I just want to make sure, like, is there, I swear, if there's a sleep enabled, I'm going to be pissed. No, there's not. Okay. So we're good there. I'm just going to close everything. That way we can leave that running in the background. I'm going to handle this off air tomorrow morning, since that is a production tool. Yeah. Wow. Today's been a solid day. Built out the chat system, skills framework, execution pipeline, ClawCrib onboarding. And then we proved the agents deliver when actually given the chance. And we also came into a broken system, which I thought was awesome. You watched me work through the flow of like figuring out what happened, what we're going to do to fix it, right? Let's see, what is this? Oh, announce skip. Got it. I love how we're working out of our own chat here now too. This is great. All right, let's get to Q&A here. I need to use a dedicated server to virtualize it with Proxmox. There, I created a CT running Tailscale because access to cloud. Oh. I swear I'm just a little behind. What was the chat feature you built in part of the tasks? The chat feature we built kind of spontaneously today. That was going to be something for next week. But we ran into, if it's more near the beginning of this episode, we ran into the automations breaking. I also discovered me taking my VM offline. I took my laptop with me. I was on the road for a combined 8, maybe 9 hours combined. So the VM was behind in time. When I started this live stream, it was 4 p.m. local. It thought it was 2 a.m. local, which explains why some of the crons overnight didn't run, because some of the crons are scheduled for 2, 2:30, 3, and 4 a.m. But then we went down that path of like discovering, okay, it's still having this error with no delivery channel to give the update. So we built out our own chat feature so we can stop using the gateway. And I vibed the whole process here. So I'm trying to understand what you mean by, is it a part of the tasks wiring? We kind of handle it all in line, all in parallel. But I really focused on this boot camp. When we started working on the chat, I didn't like working on anything else until the chat was complete. So that portion of the boot camp should be chat focused. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, I've had a lot of VPS hosting providers reach out to me about making videos. I have no interest in, like, I want to make sure it's a VPS that I would actually use, right? So now I'm testing these services before I even consider making a video for them, right? Yeah, I'm sure that exists. I'm sure they get a kickback of sales through referrals. And listen, like, can't blame the creators for doing it. I think if it comes from a genuine place of actually using the tool and actually standing behind that hosting provider, yes, great, awesome. But if it's just for the sake of money and you don't believe in what you're making and the process that you're quote unquote selling, then yeah, that's super sus. I definitely don't vibe with those types of content creators. I spend my time between 2 countries, usually 6 months at a time. But I've been gone for a year this trip, and I just got a lot to take care of when I get back to the States. So just jumping back and forth. I do plan on going to Brazil to visit my uncle. He's getting old, or my uncles rather, but all in due time. So I do have a bunch of travel coming up this year. But listen, I'm working it all around my client work and this channel first and foremost. This channel honestly comes first right now because it's my future. I have a big vision for it, but I'm not rushing into it. Right? I understand that this takes brick by brick. I need to build the foundation. I need to be consistent. And that's my focus, is being consistent here. Yeah, I walked through that between last episode and this episode. So if you're having your agent, one little trick is, I'm trying to scroll up to see, I can't scroll up all the way. Somebody in chat, forgive me, I forget their name off the top of my head. They're feeding, I want to say it's Arez. Arez was here. Ooh, it's been a long session, but they're feeding the transcripts from these YouTube videos to their agent to kind of rebuild things that we're building. That could be a little trick for you to do. Listen, I would much rather have you watch the whole live stream. You'll learn more that way. But if you just want to feed the transcript to your AI agent, by all means, you can attempt that as well. Oh, wow. Nice. So you did that real time. Okay. So you confirm it's working though. Hey, listen, this is what it's all about, right? Like taking that approach of like explaining your environment, explaining your issue, your frustration, what you'd like to improve, and getting as detailed as possible about your environment and your setup. It sounds like you're happy. It took an hour, as it should, right? These things aren't going to be that quick. They're not going to be instant. And I'm sure that takes a lot of back and forth as well. Yep. Okay. I was trying to, I remember the PFP that said it. This is a good question. And this is something I can calculate actually for you. Let's calculate this at the end of the boot camp, because now, shout out to just all the comments. We were originally going to stop at episode 5, but I think we're going to have a bonus episode or 2 where we're going to recap the entire boot camp. And what's beautiful about all the work we've done is it's logged. So we'll be able to determine how much spend on a Wednesday versus the rest of the week. I guarantee you Wednesday is going to be the biggest spike because we're doing all this work. The automations are minimal. Right? For Muddy OS, when I'm not doing infra days, I barely touch 50% of my usage on any given week. Sometimes even less, right? But I think that's a great thing for next week, the end of the episode, / reviewing the entire boot camp. And then we can kind of gauge what week 1 cost us, what week 2 cost us, week 3, and so forth and so forth. So thanks for the question. Bring it back next week. I'm also going to have my agent analyze this transcript to update the curriculum for episode 5 to kind of cross-reference 4 verse 5, make sure it knows everything we discussed. But it doesn't hurt to ping me again next week about it. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I understand. That's a bummer. Sadly, there's I could say more about it, but there's just certain types of people in this world. And you as the viewer, and then me as a viewer too, I quickly am able to identify who's extracting, who's full of poop emoji versus, I'm trying not to cuss here, versus who's actually doing the thing. that they're talking about. So I think you see that over time. The best you can do is just mute the channel, ignore it, try to make sure it doesn't come up on your feed. There's a lot of channels I've had to do with that as well. It's like I can detect right away, like, you know, is this just somebody trying to extract or not? And things like this. Like, listen, I'm going to reiterate, I respect the hustle, but at the same time, I don't respect the hustle when it comes to misleading people. I'm really against that. So. It would also help to establish a baseline for when you give the team a client to work on. Yeah. So purposefully, like once we're done with this boot camp, I'm going to give it access to client data. Listen, I'm not going to feed client data to this public boot camp because that's just not the right thing to do for my clients. More importantly, like I don't want to expose that information. That's why I'm using these projects I'm working on through our live streams like ClawCrib and Prompt Browser. We're going to hand off to Goat OS first for the sake of this boot camp. So I'm not going to be able to show you when we do implement client work, but we're doing most of all that work here live, treating our projects as client work, essentially, right? Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you. I have not. I think I tackled all the questions. Yeah, I think I pinned them all. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ooh, almost dinner time. What's everybody about to eat? Depending on where you're at, could be morning, could be afternoon, could be evening. I'm about to go make some soup. I'm going to make some caldo verde, which is just a green potato soup, if you translate that from Portuguese. It's very traditional. I obviously don't take the full traditional approach since I've been vegetarian for quite some time. I don't cook linguiça in my or chouriço in the caldo verde. I do miss that those that taste though. But hey, Stone Z, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, stay safe. Catch you next week. Hope you have a great rest of the week. For this boot camp, we're only using Claude, but for Muddy OS, I use Claude, GPT, Gemini, and I think that's it. Let's go check the team, or no, where is it? It's in Task Manager. I have my model fleet. Yeah, so I use Opus 4.6. I don't have Sonnet here listed, but I do use Sonnet. I do use Haiku as well. I need to update this. Obviously, it's Flash 3.1 Lite Pro now. But these are the models, the three main models I use, right? I use Claude Opus 4.6, Gemini 3.1 Pro Preview, and then GPT 5.4 on my main setup. And then all other setups, honestly, Claude just does the work, right? I am deploying a new OC setup where I'm just deploying with GPT 5.4 as a test, but that's coming at a later time. I want to first test that build out myself. Hey, let's go. This is one thing I want to get involved in is bread making. I tried creating my own, what do you call it? A mother, right? Sourdough starters, right? So where you feed it and it naturally ferments, right? I do want to get into bread making. The last time I tried to create a starter or a mother, so to speak, I failed miserably. So I think I need to either get a starter from somebody I know or just keep practicing. You know what I mean? That's just a whole nother realm of cooking that I haven't gotten into yet, but very nice. I'm jealous. I hope you enjoy that freshly baked bread. That is awesome. Yeah. I know. I do a few little tricks to recreate that smoky taste of sausage, but nevertheless, I love my approach. Oh yeah, we do a lot this episode. I'm happy that we did this chat bubble here because I think a lot of you are going to love building this into your own OS, because as your OS grows, you know, I discovered this with Muddy. That's why I built it for Muddy, is like the bigger you get, the more annoying it gets to have to tab over to chat. So why not have a floating chat bubble that's on every single page that you can just, as you're looking at your skills directory, for example, and reviewing a skill, you can pop up your chat and say, hey, something doesn't look right here. I want to edit this skill. And it's all within the same page, right? So I really hope, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys build your own chat bubbles, because it was rather seamless for, you know, how we did it. And I show the prompt on screen. So just pause the video at that moment in time and just screenshot that and feed it to your agent. All right. Yeah, I think this is we're at a great stopping point. So I just want to take the time to thank each and every one of you. Eriz, Josh, Whoosh, Niski, Stonesy, Backwoods. I'm going to call you NH because I'm trying to remember what your name is. I think you shared it, but today was a slow day for me, so forgive me, but thank you. Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Gabizzy. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Juan. And I think I scrolled to the top. I can't scroll all the way to the top to every chat, but I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here. You're really what making this boot camp what it is, right? I can't do this without you. So thank you. Hope you found some value in today's video. We'll be back at it on Friday and Monday with some fun vibe coding, just working on prompt browser, working on ClawCrib. We might work on something random. You never know. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you've learned most about this episode. And yeah, thanks for being here. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day. And until next time, happy building. Cheers. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I salute. Oh, and Tracy. Yeah, I didn't see your comment. Thank you as well. Yeah, if I didn't pin your comment, listen, my social stream only scrolls up so far if the chat keeps filling up. So I can't pin every comment. But listen, thank you. And without further ado, happy building. Cheers.